So we're moving away from graphing for the next few lessons, and we're going to work on reviewing how to solve for a variable and how it relates to what we've been working with our linear equations and our linear rules. So in this first example, we have y equals mx plus b, and we are given the rule y equals 4x plus 5. In your notebook, I want you to write down what is our m and what is our b for this one. You should have written down that our m is 4 and our b is 5, because it's what we're going up by every time is 4 and we're starting with our 5. Now if I give you this equation, negative 8x plus 4y equals 12. Go ahead and write down what you think the growth is in this one. In other words, what is our m? What are we going up by every time? Or in this case, down by every time. And then what do you think our b is? What is our starting value for this one going to be? Now that you've written down what you think your m and your b are, we're going to check to see if you are right or wrong. So in order to know what our m and our b is, to be 100% sure, we have to get it in y equals format. So we have to get it back into our y equals mx plus b. Well, how do I do that? Well, if you look, I have y on one side and everything else on the other side. So that's what I have to do in this case. So I'm going to draw my line. I'm going to take my negative 8x and I'm going to move it over to the other side. So that means it becomes a positive 8x. So I'm left with 4y equals 12 plus 8x. Now remember, I can't put my 12 and my 8x together because those are not the same thing. They are not combining like terms. One has that x value. So now it kind of goes back to what we're doing when we learn how to regularly solve for x. I know 4y is equal to 12 plus 8x, but I have to figure out what 1y is equal to. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to divide everything by 4. Now, the most important part about this is that you divide everything, not just the x, not just the b, but everything by whatever number's in front of y. So my rule is really 12 divided by 4 is 3, and then 8 divided by 4 is 2, so it's 2x. So my rule is y equals 3 plus 2x, or you can rewrite it as y equals 2x plus 3. So my m in this case is 2, and my b is 3. Now look and see what you put down, and understand how much easier it is to really know when we get it into y equals format than when we have x and y on the same side. So in the lesson you're going to be doing next, you're going to be learning how to solve for a given variable. And there's two main important things that I want you to understand. Is that when it says solve for blank, that's the variable you get by itself. So if it says solve for x, you're getting x on one side of the equal sign, everything else on the other side. If it says solve for y, you're going to do just what we had just done and get y by itself. The other thing is that your answer is going to have a variable in it. It's not just always going to be y equals 2, x equals 4. Instead, you may have x equals 2y plus 6, or y equals z plus 9. You're going to have another variable in your answer now, which makes it a little bit more complicated.